ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरे सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहाय। So let us continue our study of the great master, or the Leela Prasanga as it was originally called in Bengali. So, the topic which Maharaj had taken for discussion was this: the outlook of the avatars or extraordinary personalities on the world. वो जगत को कैसे देखते हैं, कैसे अनुभव करते हैं, is the topic that we were discussing. Not only that, this the various kinds of ecstasies, etc., which they experience as compared to ordinary people. Was it really a fabrication or imagination? क्या कल्पना है, क्या सचमुच है? So these were being discussed. Actually, when Sri Ramakrishna went into Samadhi, Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar once put his finger and touched his eyeball. हम लोग तो मान लीजिए आग का 1 इंच नजदीक आने में आग बंद हो जाएगी. Cannot be open. You try that. You cannot touch. So he was so bereft of body consciousness. See, the one basic idea of anything that is spiritual or superior or transcendental is the absence of body consciousness. Because our biggest bondage, our biggest problem, our biggest difficulty is that we are completely bound by body and mind. इसलिए आपके आध्यात्मिक जगत में आगे बढ़ाना, आगे चलना, the progress literally means becoming less and less body and mind consciousness. तो समाधि में संपूर्ण रूप से शरीर मन की कोई ही स्पर्श ही नहीं रहता. It's totally bereft of body and mind. Total stillness. But naturally, they also compare their experiences with those of the ordinary people. साधारण लोग जैसे अनुभव करते हैं उन लोगों का क्या होता है. And then slowly they understand that other people do not have the ability to see the world from a higher plane of consciousness. ये हम लोग का जितनी हम लोग का अनुभव हो रहा है, all that are all based on our इंद्रियस only, our senses only. आँख से देखते हैं, मुंह से बात करते हैं, कान से सुनते हैं, आपकी चर्म से स्पर्श करते हैं. Everything is happening only through the senses only. But spirituality starts with Atindriya Jagat. Going beyond senses is the first step in spiritual life or spiritual experience. So obviously, this main thing, Loka Siddha. That's what, Ramsey himself used to feel. Mera kya ho raha hai? Sab sach hai kya? It is all true what is happening. Again and again, going beyond the body, again and again experiencing this kind of transcendence where there is no idea, no touch. शरीर है कि नहीं, इस अवस्था कैसे प्राप्त करते हैं? So it is a big issue for him also. It takes quite a long time. Although they are avatars, although they are endowed with extraordinary spiritual powers, or their origin or their lineage is something very, very special, यद्यपि वो भगवान के अंश वही जन्म लेते हैं, फिर भी साधन काल में पूरी तरह वो याद वही समझ नहीं रहती उन लोग. They don't realize or they are not fully aware during the period of sadhana that they are divine. तब तो साधना ही नहीं होगा. If you are fully aware that you are God, that you are super extraordinary, why will you do sadhana? So like साधारण मनुष्य की तरह ही उन लोग साधन करते हैं, लेकिन धीरे 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 करते करते they develop that super conscious power, knowledge and the awareness. At one point of time they become completely established. उसके बाद कोई संदेह नहीं रहती. So that is how the trajectory, that's how the path, that's how the life goes for them. But initially, again, because sometimes सब यूज थे यार सब आपका मन की भ्रम है, ऐसे से बोलते थे ठाकुर कबीर. He also used to feel is not true because they alone are experiencing. No one around them is experiencing in any way whatsoever. क्या फर्क है? How is it? इसलिए स्वामी जी ठाकुर के बारे में कहा अनंत भावमय ठाकुर. इतना भाव उनका विभिन्न प्रकार होता था. ठाकुर हिमसेल्फ से मेरा अनुभूतियां वेद वेदांत के पर चलेगी. My experiences have gone beyond the Veda. It's something which we cannot even comprehend, cannot even imagine. But that is the truth. So naturally, what is the the real test? बीच बीच में मेरे पास भी कोई आके बोलते हैं स्वामी जी आके मेरा ये बोला ये करने के लिए है लगता है. So the further best advice is आप अच्छा खाना खाओ, विश्राम करो, ठीक हो जाएगा. Because all kinds of imaginations are also happening. So what is the difference? If you have really experienced, see what is the difference? There is also one school, one very powerful philosopher, even in our own tradition. He was a very highly learned person. But he argued very strongly and even wrote a book, Sleep Equal to Samadhi. आपका नींद में भी कोई इंद्रिय का अनुभव नहीं हो रहा है. You have no idea of any indriyas, etc. जो भी हो रहा है मन की माध्यम में कुछ. So very logically he tried to establish that sleep is equal to samadhi. आपकी नींद में भी कोई ये नहीं है. How it is? Of course this has all been very refuted strongly. One strong argument is आप नींद में जाते समय जितनी असमझ जितनी बुद्धू आप थे आप जग के भी वही रहते. The same fool you when you went to sleep, when you get up also you remain the same fool. एक आपकी बिंदु भी आपकी ज्ञान नहीं बढ़ती. लेकिन if you go into samadhi, you come out, you become a truly enlightened person. That is the difference. When you experience anything super sensuous or when you experience anything transcendental, it will change your life. That is the test. आप आज की बात में भी बड़ी बड़ी बात हम लोग करते रहते हैं, मैं अध्यात्म हूँ, ये हूँ, से हूँ, but you behave like a very ordinary person, and nobody will accept it. So the moment you say that you are, then you have to really, see how could Sri Ramakrishna bear that kind of cancer and talk for hours about spiritual life? Is it possible? हम लोग को थोड़ा भी क्लास की पहले चाय लेना पड़ता है, क्लास की बाद लेना पड़ता है, क्या 1 घंटा बोलने के लिए. एंड सामान्य भी दर्द हो जाए तो सब एक्टिविटी बंद. A person having cancer of the throat and talking for 4 hours. 6 महीने खाना नहीं खाया. Only little suji pies is all he could take for 5-6 months. But still when Mahendralal Sarkar comes and starts any discussion, it goes on for hours. 3 घंटा 4 घंटा तक. कैसे संभव है? Absolute absence of the idea of body. ये समझ लीजिए. अध्यात्म आप जैसे ही कहते हैं, the first indication is you feel less and less the burden of the body, less and less the burden of the mind. क्यों हम लोग का ध्यान में बैठ नहीं पाता हूं? बैठने में क्यों? मन की चंचलता. The more and more the mind is quietened, more and more you experience the lessening of the weight of the burden of the body, you are progressing in spiritual. और कुछ भी आपकी देखना जरूरत नहीं. We asked one very senior Swami, Maharaj, how do we understand whether we are progressing in spiritual life? He clearly said, the more and more your desires lessen, you are spiritual. So there are very clear indications. Spiritual life is based on complete science. ऐसा नहीं कोई बोल दिया आपका विश्वास करना है, मानना पड़ना कोई बात ही नहीं है. You can clearly challenge whether it is true. So mother also said, somebody, काशी में मरने में मुक्ति प्राप्त होती है, ऐसे कोई कहावत है. ब्रह्मचारी कोई दुष्ट है, एक मच्छर का मारा, बोला क्या माँ इसका क्या मुक्त हो गया? माँ बोला हाँ जरूर. लेकिन माँ बोला देखो काशी में मरने में सबको मुक्ति है, लेकिन If you want to enjoy that freedom in this life itself, then you must become निर्वासना, वासना शून्य होना है आपका, निर्वासना गति प्राप्त करना है. Because you see, after you die, what happens? Who cares? ये क्या है, आप मुक्त हो जाए, आपका फिर जन्म नहीं लेना पड़ेगा, वो तो ठीक है, तो बहुत बड़ी प्राप्ति है. क्योंकि हम लोग जो जन्म लिया सब समझते हैं इससे कितना दिक्कतें हैं, कितना बुरा है जन्म लेना है, धरती पे रहना. एनीवन with some years they will understand what is this life is all about. That's true. But then if you experience, the real joy is becoming a jivan mukta in this life itself, how to enjoy that freedom. इसलिए माँ कहा, if you are free from desires, आप निर्वासना गति आप प्राप्त करो, then you will enjoy जीवन मुक्ति. Why? Because all our bondages, all our difficulties, all our troubles, all linked to vasana, something or other. Some or other vasana, some or desire that is pulling us, that is troubling us. You may give it a color. You may see it's a spiritual desire. You may see it may, no, nothing is. See, any desire which restricts you, which binds you, which brings problems, which brings difficulties, it has got nothing to do with spirituality. ठाकुर भी कहते हैं, सबको आपकी चीनी लेना अच्छा नहीं है, लेकिन मिश्री, that is good. So the desire for God, Thakur himself says, the desire for God, because somebody asked, well, how should we really get rid of desires? Then what about desire for God realization or getting God? He said, no, that's not a desire in that sense, because that relates to Atindriya Jagat. That doesn't relate to this plane. That relates to a transcendental plane. आपका किसी तरह शरीर मन की दिशा में आपका नहीं बांधेगा. It will not restrict you or bind you from the idea of body and mind. It's beyond that. And then it will not bring any other in its wake, any other reaction, any other thing negative, like काम, क्रोध, मोह, लोभ, मद मात्सर्य, कुछ भी उसी से जन्म ले लेगा. आप सिर्फ भगवान के प्राप्त करने की आपके मन में इच्छा हो, कुछ भी, यानी सिर्फ ब्रह्म ज्ञान प्राप्त करना, वो भी तो एक डिजायर आप कह सकते हैं. क्योंकि आपका सामान्य कुछ भी नहीं हो, आपका चलना मुश्किल है. The body will not last. So that is not a desire in that sense, because it has nothing to do with body or mind. It has nothing to do with anything in this world. It does not bring anything else in its wake. आपकी मान लीजिए साधारण स्तर पे जो भी आपके मन में डिजायर उदय हो, immediately it brings 100 other things in its wake. कि कहाँ से करा, कहाँ से जाना, कहाँ दौड़ना, किसके पढ़ना, कहाँ जाना है, क्या क्या करना है, इसकी का परिणाम क्या है, पर मिलने में क्या है, नहीं मिलने में क्या है, नहीं मिलने में गुस्सा है, मिलने भी तो कैसे रखो, उसी लिए एंग्जाइटी है. 1000 चीज. मान लीजिए यू गेट अ वेरी, यू डिजायर फॉर अ प्राइज्ड पोजीशन, you get it also. Then there is a tremendous anxiety. How to protect it? How to keep it? How to prevent anyone else from stealing it? How to prevent it from being damaged? 1000 उसके पीछे आ जाएगी. But भगवान लाभ का इच्छा से ऐसा कोई ही परिणाम आप अनुभव, इसलिए that's okay. That's not discounted in the desire. So in this world, all the problems, difficulties we experience, it's all because of desires in one form or other. एक आश्रम बनाना है, बिल्डिंग बनाना, प्रोजेक्ट बनाना, वो भी डिजायर है, उससे भी दिक्कतें आए, इसलिए मैं भी इतना जूझ रहा हूँ. It is not that, oh, you can't, yes, maybe for a great cause, but unless, no, but if you are a person deeply evolved, आप कुछ भी नहीं, बैठ रहेंगे, ऐसा करना है, संकल्प है, भगवान की इच्छा तो हो जाए. आप किसी को जाकर मांगेंगे भी नहीं. क्यों? यू नो इट इज भगवान का काम है, वो करवाएंगे, मेरे क्या मांगना है. लेकिन जब तक आपके अंदर वो शरीर मन की कुछ जोड़ है, कर्तव्य बोध आप अनुभव करते हैं, तब तक आपको पूरी तरह करना है, नहीं तो आप एक धोखाबाज है, you're a hypocrite. So if I have that this thing, I cannot say I'm a great spiritual saint. मैं आंख बंद करके बैठ रहता हूँ, सब प्रोजेक्ट हुए, कुछ नहीं होगा. Why? Because I have not gone to that stage where I will completely delegate everything to God and keep quiet. जितना हम लोग प्रयास करते हैं, बीच बीच में ढक्कन उसी से संभालते हैं, थोड़ा भगवान के प्रति निर्भरता तो है ही. बट एनी डिजायर, however a spiritual color you might give it, it's all not spiritual at all. if there's anything related to birth, we should be honest. मैं जानता हूँ ना, दूसरी आदमी नहीं जान सकते, but I know where my mind is. Whether it is related to anything, body or mind, is it related to any kind of desire, vasana, attraction? कुछ भी इसके अंदर spirituality नहीं है, मान लीजिए. Don't try to fool yourself thinking that it's all spiritual. No. So if it is a desire is only for something spiritual, something for transcendental, it will not bring in its way any other problem, any other difficulty, or any other उसकी उपसर्ग नहीं होगा उसी से. That is a test. That is a test of spiritual desire. It will only make you go deeper and deeper into sadhana, take you more and more away from body and mind, take you more and more away from attachments, other worldly desires, everything. मान लीजिए आपका भगवान की पाने के लिए इतनी इच्छा है, ऑटोमेटिकली that will free you from all other worldly attractions. क्यों? आपका तो मन पूरी तरह वहां है, एक भगवान की चरणों में, उनकी प्राप्त करने के लिए आप कर रहे हैं. So you're automatically relieved from all other problems, all other desires, all other difficulties. सब automatically. So that we should remember, this great distinction. That's why he says, Maharaj, other people are almost completely without the ability to see the world from a higher plane of consciousness. क्यों? इन लोग सब अनुभव करने के बाद भी धरती के उनके क्या अनुभव है? They look at the world from a different plane of consciousness, from a divine plane of consciousness, or from a superconscious level. So they are not, they are able to penetrate and go deeper and see the true inner reality. वो बाहर देखने के लिए ऐसा है, बाहर देखने के लिए गोयल साहब है, अंदर वो आत्मा है, वो चैतन्य है, वो विराजमान है, वो they understand everything about that. So that is because of that supersensuous knowledge, their capacity, their everything. You know? So if an ordinary person like me will say, oh, this is a mic, this produces sound. Then a person with complete knowledge of sound and electricity, etc., he will describe it totally differently. Because he knows in and out what is all this. So that is, if it is so in a worldly sense, with the existential things, with the gross physical objects, you can understand more and more. As we go deeper, as we go subtler, how to understand minds, how to understand even inner workings. Even if you practice sadhana for some years, if you practice quietness, calmness of the mind, you will be able to some extent understand other minds. कि क्या चाहते हैं, क्या बोलना चाहते हैं, इनका क्या सोच है, समझ पाएंगे, पाओगे जरूर. You practice that calmness, you practice meditation, you practice stillness, because immediately in such a still mind there will be reflection. कि क्या चल रहा है मन. Even at a greater level, it will be even greater, much greater. Of course, would read other people's mind like the palm of his hand. कि हाथ की ऐसी रेखा की तरह सब समझ पाते हैं. So much so, one person, he came up to Alambazar Mutt, very close to Dakshineshwar, and went away. क्योंकि इतना डर आया, मेरा मन में क्या क्या है वो समझ पाएंगे, मुश्किल है. So immediately he ran away. Then later on, he met Brahmanand Ji. He was so sad. मेरा इतना मौका था, इतना नजदीक आकर मैंने दर्शन नहीं किया. महाराज गंभीर हो गए, प्रणाम करो. जैसे प्रणाम किया, वो एकदम राजा महल की जगह पे उनका ठाकुर का दर्शन हुआ. He was very, very lucky. Somehow Raja Maharaj used to, graced him and कृपा किया उन्होंने, उनको हुआ. But that was it. People used to feel, because he could just clearly see what's in your mind. Because his mind had become so subtle. It had become part of the cosmic mind. And we are all part of that. If that is linked to that, immediately everything in the individual mind is revealed to that cosmic mind, or such a personality. Swamiji, like that you could clearly see. When he went to America, there was a great singer called Emma Calvin. She had attempted suicide several times. She was a great, accomplished opera singer. किसी ने बोला देखो इंडिया से कोई योगी आया, देखो she was not interested, लेकिन किसी तरह उन्होंने अपॉइंटमेंट लेके आया स्वामी जी के पास. स्वामी जी was sitting in a room. He was sitting probably in a meditative pose, deeply absorbed. आंख खोला भी नहीं. She entered inside. Swamiji did not even look at her. One after another, he started narrating incidents from her life. वो अपना बहुत घनिष्ठ मित्र को भी नहीं बताया था. She had not confided even to her closest friends. She was shocked. How is it? She expressed, Swami said, I can read your mind like the palm of my hand. And then simply this much he said, my child, why do you carry around you such a disturbed atmosphere? Go start singing, be happy. उस दिन से उसके जीवन में फिर परिवर्तन आ गया. She again became that happy gay singer as before, and that was a total change. He had written a small reminiscences about her meeting with Swami Vivekananda. I think in that book it is there. So it's all possible. So Swamiji Rajayoga says it's all science. There's nothing make believe in all that. So when avatars compare themselves with ordinary people, they realize seemingly sweet yet fleeting sense objects cannot tempt them as you do others in this transient life. So when they see Baki Loka, Siddheswar, Thakur always used to tell people, no, Ubso used to come. अरे आप कहाँ फंसे हुए कामनी कंचन से, निकालो उसी से, डूब देना तो नहीं होगा. So he could clearly see, but absolutely in his mind there was nothing to attract him, no desire whatsoever. This is because avatars see the world from both the human and divine planes of consciousness. The thick clouds of despondency and unrest that arise under different circumstances in the ever-changing world cannot cover their minds. The compassionate minds are therefore solely absorbed in the question of how they can gain full control over the divine power, ascend to higher and higher planes of consciousness at will, and stay there as long as they want, and then teach the technique to all people so that they too can attain peace. So Maharaj puts it very beautifully. So see, साधारण आदमी और अवतार ऐसे नहीं है सिर्फ एक डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस उस स्तर पे चढ़ गया वहां से नहीं उतरते. Not only they go to a very high transcendental plane, when they come down, when they look at the world, they look it from both the angles. From a divine perspective, a divine consciousness also, the level to which they had ascended, in which everything in this world becomes just a reflection or that revealing of that consciousness only and nothing else. या कोई अलग नहीं देखते हैं. They also see the suffering, the difficulties, कहाँ जूझ रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, how they are caught in desires, how they are struggling. ये दोनों देखते हैं. ये नहीं देखते हैं ऐसा वही महात्मा. इसीलिए a great soul, even a spiritually illumined person, an avatar, बहुत फर्क है. Avatar is like a huge dynamo, a reservoir of spiritual power. Ordinary व्यक्ति कुछ साधन करके अपना मुक्ति के लिए सोचते हैं, उतरे हैं उनके, उसके अधिक नहीं है. But avatar is like a huge, Thakur himself says, not like a huge ship. They can carry thousands and thousands of people across this ocean of samsara. Whereas ordinary people like small, that country boat or some such thing, catamaran or somewhere, one person can somehow cross. It's a huge difference. So that is why, they don't just only see the world from a divine consciousness. फिर तो कोई बात ही नहीं है. इसलिए, even some of the अद्वैत ज्ञानी, उनका दूसरा कोई समझ ही नहीं आता है, बात ही नहीं करते. Simply they will only live in that realm and they may go away also quickly. But the greater is the power of a Mahapurush or a Mahatma or at the highest level of Avatara, greater is their compassion for mankind. इसलिए स्वामी जी ने जब पावरी बाबा के पास गया, बहुत प्रयास किया दीक्षा लेने के लिए, सफल नहीं हुआ. क्यों? ठाकुर अपीयर 21 टाइम्स उनकी निरस्त किया. अगले दिन दीक्षा होना था, अगले दिन रात ठाकुर दर्शन देते थे. ऐसा 21 दिन हुआ. अरे कुछ नहीं बोलते थे, सिर्फ खड़े होते थे. Swamiji was so stunned by that vision, as if he is pleading, don't go ahead with your resolve. नहीं किया, अंत में छोड़ के आ गए, क्योंकि वो देख रहे हैं मैं तो उनसे लेने आ रहा हूं, वो तो मेरे से मांग रहे हैं. I came to learn and get from Baba, Power Baba, but he's always, उनकी तो ऐसे ही his hand is always open, like seeking. So he moved away. Then he wrote, the world has not seen such extraordinary spiritual glory or eminence. I'm not quoting the exact words, the level of spirituality as Ramakrishna, and at the same time, that intense compassion for the suffering humanity. वही विशेषता है. So the more they are advanced in spiritual life, more is their compassion. So if you say I'm a Mahatma, I don't care, खुद ही अपने ही देखते रहता हो, then you are Mahatma नहीं, दुरात्मा है. So because of that, then what do? He says, they start working. अरे इन लोग ऐसे कष्ट है, मैं इतना प्राप्त करना नहीं है, उसका प्राप्त करके वही स्तर पर कितने दिन रह सकता. Because normally their bodies also go away quickly. The more and more you get spiritual experience, the more and more or the greater are the chances of your quitting this world. क्योंकि धरती के साथ कोई संपर्क में नहीं रहेगा. How will you live unless there is something to keep you in this world? So that is why one of the avatars, one of the greatest this task is to work out how not only to acquire the divine power, get control, and then stay there as long as possible to teach the world how it is possible to get something of that power and be free from bondage, suffering, etc. क्योंकि आपका धरती पे जितनी भी दुख कष्ट है, सबको समाधान अंत में आध्यात्मिकता से ही होगा. Nothing less than that can give you total solution. आप सोचेंगे मेरा पैसे की अभाव था, पैसा आ गया, 2 दिन बाद ही फिर दूसरी अभाव आ जाए. मैं हाँ बहुत अच्छा हूँ, मेरा स्वास्थ्य दिक्कत है, बहुत अच्छा हूँ. 2 दिन अरे काल बोले थे, अरे भाई कितना गड़बड़ हुआ, फिर टेंट बैठाना पड़ता है. Then you run again to doctors, something or other. Because in this world, nothing can give you lasting peace and happiness. All the problems would be ultimately resolved only through a spiritual solution. There is no other shortcut. So that is why they work out how to transmit that power, that energy, how to give that solution to people, so that in a small way at least they can absorb, practice, and overcome their bondages and proceed on the path of mukti. So that they too can attain peace. For this reason, the two powerful currents of sadhana and compassion are constantly flowing side by side in their lives. इसलिए normally that's why Sri is so refreshingly different from that ancient ideal. ये सब छोड़ फोड़ के वन जंगल में चले जाओ, अपना मुक्ति के लिए साधना करो, बस शरीर छोड़ दो. That was the old idea. No, Sri Ramakrishna lived in the heart of the city. कलकत्ता में रह के ऐसे लोग आते थे. People, even you and I would not talk, such worldly people, but Thakur would speak to them also. He knew everybody is struggling. उनका कुछ नहीं है, because he was so high. All others would be on the same level with me as well he was concerned. So their idea is they not only they do intense sadhana, they always constantly there's a flow of compassion in their hearts so that the suffering humanity can be helped. So here Maharaj gives a very beautiful example to show the difference between avatars and other realized souls. Once 3 friends went for a walk through a field. In the middle of the field, they found a place enclosed by high walls. Sweet sounds of music came from inside. ऐसे कोई कू की तरह को हम देख पा रहे हैं, तो अंदर से बहुत ऐसी सुंदर आवाज निकल रही. They wanted to see what was happening. They looked around but found no entrance. उसमें कोई प्रवेश करने का कोई ही नहीं था, दरवाजा नहीं था. What could they do? One of them procured a ladder and climbed up, while the other 2 stood below. On reaching the top, the first friend looked down into the enclosure and burst into loud, joyful laughter when he saw the festivities within. ऐसे कोई बहुत ही तरह बहुत लंबी ऊंची दीवार, उसके अंदर से बहुत ऐसे ही से सुंदर आवाज आ रही है, हंसी मजाक का बहुत कुछ। उन्होंने कहाँ से एक ले आया सीढ़ी, लैडर, एंड उसमें चढ़ के अंदर देखा, वो भी बहुत हंसने लगा, अंदर कूद पड़ा, वापस आके खबर नहीं दिया। He did not come back to tell what was a great joy he was experiencing inside. He could not even wait for a moment to tell his two friends below what he had seen. क्योंकि वो वहां से कूदने की पहले इतना सब बता देते, अरे अरे आप लोग आ जाओ, बहुत मजा है अंदर। That was okay. Even he did not have even time. देखे इतना प्रभावित हो गए, immediately he jumped inside and he forgot everything. So आधे इन लोग को कुछ मालूम नहीं क्या हुआ, तो वो कुछ नहीं बोला, अंदर कूद गया। And then he did not care to tell us. The other two thought, aha, what a wonderful friend. He did not care to tell us what he saw. However, we shall find out for ourselves. And the second friend climbed to the top of the wall. Like the first person, he also burst into loud laughter and jumped into the enclosure. दूसरा बंधु मित्र भी वैसे किया, सीढ़ी चढ़ा, अंदर देखा, इतना चकित हो गया, तुरंत अंदर कूद गए, jumped inside. He also did not give any information. So एक ही आदमी बचा है. The third friend finally climbed up the ladder and saw the mart of joy within. इतना वहां एक हंसी मजाक की बाजार पिटा है अंदर, इतना चल रहा है नीचे. And then at first he had a strong desire to jump inside and join others. कभी मन में ऐसे कोई तीव्र इच्छा आया, मैं भी अंदर कूद जाऊं लोग की तरह. But then he thought, if I join the festivities now, then other people outside won't know there's a place where one can enjoy such a divine bliss. Shall I enjoy this place without sharing it? With these thoughts, he forcefully turned his mind away, descended the ladder. Then he went about proclaiming to whomsoever he met, hello, there's a mart of bliss inside this place. Please come and let us enjoy it together. Thus he brought many people to share the bliss. Now you see, just as we cannot discover the cause of the third prince's wishes to share the bliss with others, so we cannot ascertain why the desire to do good to humanity exists from childhood in the minds of avatars. Maharaj has very beautifully summed up the whole thing. So the third friend, he thought that no, I should inform others. If I jump inside, I will be liberated, I will be blissful, I will enjoy. But no one else would get it. So he says the avatars are like that. Not only they descend, ascend to the highest plane of sadhana, but they constantly work so that others also get a share of that bliss. Now he says, see, now you cannot say, दो मित्र तो अंदर कूद गए, तू had jumped inside. Why should the third person think that no, हम दूसरी के बताऊं? क्यों ऐसे सोचा? कोई कारण नहीं. The same way he says that he cannot explain why avatars from a very young age entertain this idea of compassion for others. इसीलिए उन लोग का तैयारी वैसा है. They came for the very purpose. इसीलिए बोला परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम्. So only for the emancipation of the good, for the liberation of the good. So obviously, he was. They come for that purpose. That is their. That is the mandate. That is the one of the greatest reasons for the avatara, to show mankind the path of regeneration, how to overcome the sorrow, suffering, how to get eternal peace and joy. सब सिखाने के लिए आते हैं. Obviously, they are like that. That is why it is so. Anyway, still it is very difficult to justify, because see, once you, आप भी देखेंगे, जब आप किसी दिन कोई आए, बहुत सुंदर कुछ हो रहा है, पूजा हो रहा है, भजन हो रहा है, सब चुपचाप है, आप बैठ के, आप सचमुच लंबी समय ऐसे अभ्यास करें, आपका किसी के साथ बात करने की भी मन नहीं करे. You have not reached anything at all. कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, कुछ अनुभव में, फिर भी even if you can meditate quietly for some time, you cannot even talk to others. ऐसे भी सुना, इतना गहराई से ध्यान हुआ, some little sound, as if somebody is hammering with a big hammer. इतना उन लोग का बड़ी से सुनाई देता था. Because the mind is so still. So if that is for very ordinary aspirants, you can imagine, the more, the higher you go, the lesser will be the desire to get connected to the world or anything in this world. अब तो जानते हैं पूरी बुरा है. There is nothing to be admired or sought after or this or that. So the first idea is to cut off everything and be totally free. So to come back and to really do something for mankind, that requires extraordinary powers, extraordinary mandate. श्री ठाकुर हर बार कहते हैं किसी को करने के लिए भगवान से चापरास आदेश चाहिए, मैंडेट चाहिए. विदाउट दैट यू कैन नॉट स्पिरिचुअली हेल्प एनीबॉडी. So that is why, it's very. So, you must have shared all this in other classes. The great Ramanujacharya, his friend, his guru gave him a great mantra. He said, this will liberate you, but you should not tell others. If you share it with anybody, they will be liberated and you will go to him. So Ramanuja went even one further. See, avatars, they are not compromising their sadhana, their siddhi to help others. अपना रख के ही करते हैं. इतना कॉम्प्रोमाइज है, इतना सैक्रिफाइस है उनकी, जो हमेशा वो आनंद में डूब रहना, वही सत इच्छा त्याग करके to help ordinary people, they come forward. That much. But Ramanuj, he went to the Srirangam. बहुत बहुत बड़ा मंदिर है. You go, it is a massive gopuram, the entrance. उसके ऊपर चढ़ गए, वहां से चिल्लाने लगे, आ जाओ सब, आ जाओ, आ जाओ. He went and openly chanted this mantra so that thousands and thousands of people will be liberated. He knew doesn't matter. Does it mean? Did he go? No. He went to Vaikuntha only and was always in contact with the Lord. His guru must have said that this is a very sacred thing, we should not go about giving it to X and Y and Z. His guru was a good person, but he was, cautioning him that only that Sat Patra ki upayog. You should not go to others. But Ramanuja was such a large-hearted person. No, मैं जिंदगी में जितना है सबको मैं करूंगा. I will help as many as possible. So he went up the temple and shouted. So that is the difference. Although he was spiritually great, yet he had the intense compassion. For which Maharaj says it's very difficult to find the reason why it's happening then. Actually, now Maharaj is beginning another topic. It's full of different topics. So we'll take it up next time. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. आप सबको दीपावली के लिए बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. All of you have a wonderful Deepavali. Deepavali is actually, it's meant for, it's a festival of lights, dispelling the darkness. नरकासुर वध क्या है? हम सबको अंदर जो आसुरी जो प्रवृत्ति है, सबको भगवान की कृपा से विनाश करना, नष्ट करना. That is Deepavali. The light is the light of knowledge, should dispel the darkness. लोग जो युग युग से जो अंधेरा में हम लोग डूबे हुए, that darkness should be dispelled. May this Deepavali help us all in that direction. Just may prayer. लेकिन अगले रविवारी program है. So I think Sunday, tomorrow we'll have Gita class, but next Sunday we will not have class because of Deepavali. Namaskar.